right. It's Saturday the 6th. I know the date today. It's 4 o'clock. That means it's Japanese Knife 101. It's the weekend edition. I'm going to change that. I'm going to change our caption.
To weekend edition? I like it.
Weekend edition.
I like it. I like it. I'm going to clean my camera lens just for fun.
It's kind of like how the Sunday edition is a little bit better. Like the newspaper is always a little bit better, you know? They got a little more in it, a little bit thicker, more to read.
Well, today might be a weird one. Today might be a weird one because my brain is not functioning right today.
No, I haven't been. Hasn't been working too great for me either.
Why is that? I'm really fuzzy today.
I haven't had much to eat, Kevin, for the past week. Well, you and I and Alex, the assistant manager of the store here, have all been partaking in Operation Come Home's $24 challenge, which means that we've given ourselves $24 to purchase groceries for the week.
It doesn't sound like much money.
It's not very much. And I think everyone who's done it, Peter says so extra rambly and off topic. Yeah. Double rambly.
I don't even know if we'll hit the target today. Target?
Yeah, I put it in the notes, but we're probably not going to talk about it. So we've both. So I'll talk a little bit about this. Operation Come Home is a local charity here in Ottawa that works with at-risk youth. It's young people for one reason or another. Life is a little bit harder for them. So Operation Come Home offers a ton of different services. Addiction counseling, employment services, housing. They have a drop-in. They've got they cover a lot of bases. And but this is something that they always do. They always fundraise. This is the big time for fundraising for them, is always kind of January, February. And normally we would do the 24 hours of homelessness. That would be kind of similar thing. People would pledge people to do something crazy. But we would spend 24 hours outside. You'd have to sleep outdoors on the corner of Bank and Gloucester and do a little bit of panhandling for the charity and hopefully raise a bit of money. I think I know what that is. But so this year we're doing the $24 challenge instead. And kind of talking to the few people who've done it, like yourself and Alex and a couple of the other people I know through Operation Come Home, everyone's having different struggles, it seems. I've gotten to a point where, so I took all my money and I bought some chicken and beans and rice and tomatoes, and I made this big pot of beans and rice. I've been eating oatmeal for breakfast and then this, I don't know, jambalaya type stuff for lunch and dinner. I've gotten to a point where I'm so bored with what I'm eating that I don't feel like eating.
That was me the other day, man.
Yeah, like despite being hungry, I couldn't be arsed to eat anything else. And it's been pretty hard at home, like, because I still got to make lunches for my kids, and I got to go grocery shopping for my family tomorrow. But I can't eat any of that stuff. And I'm still like, so I've been having a couple of days where.
And last week, Chris, I told them I was on strike.
Yeah.
For cooking and shopping.
I should have. I
told them I was on strike, and they've been really nice.
Yeah. So I should have done that. So that's kind of been my big strike. It's kind of a weird thing to complain about, but it's really gotten in my head. Like I worked from home yesterday, and I struggled all day to just stay out of the cupboard. When I come to the store, it's not a big deal because I don't have like snacks all over the place here. But when I was working from home, it was a little bit harder. Because you get up, like maybe you just finished sending an email, you get up, you do a lap of the living room, and you hit up the kitchen, and you go to grab a handful of nuts or something, but I'm not supposed to. I had to tell a guy today, the chef over at Cantina Gia, which is North and Navy's new restaurant, he phoned and asked if we wanted sandwiches, and I had to say no thanks. He's like, "Wow, it's free." And I was like, "Yeah, it's kind of breaking the rules though, and I raised a lot more money than what I thought I was gonna, so I really don't want to cheat. I don't want to.
What happens
let
if
anyone
you cheat,
down,
Chris? What happens if you cheat?
Well, if I cheat, I just get a bunch of guilt. If you cheat, you got to write a big check.
So here, let's just check. I think.
Yeah.
I'm at $6,000.
Oh yeah, you've gone up again today.
$59.54. So I'm up $46 off of 6,000.
Yeah.
So back when I thought I'd only raise 800.
Yeah.
I was really smart. I thought I'm only going to raise 800. So I'll just put in the caveat: if I cheat or overspend, I'll just double the money, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Chris, the 2 pierogies I stole from my family's dinner last night and ate from my fingers over top of the sink in the kitchen because I couldn't stand it anymore, they cost me so far $3,000 per pierogi.
It happened.
It happened, Chris. I ate 2 pierogies last night, which means the first pierogi cost me $6,000, but the second pierogi reduced the price to $3,000 per pierogi. Yeah. So there you go. If you haven't donated yet, donate now because I get to double it.
Yeah.
Chris, I was weak.
I get it. I hear you, man.
I was weak in the house. It just like there was pierogies and sausages, and I was weak. They were pizza the other night. There was.
They're making it hard for you.
Dude, there was a roast chicken one night.
Now,
chicken is what I've been relying on, but a roast chicken is way better than poached chicken in my mind.
Yeah. Yeah. I was digging around in my car the other day, and the Skittles sitting around on the floor of the back seat were looking pretty good.
I never said what kind of pierogies. They were the pierogies that we made. They were cheddar and bacon, not cheddar and oh, my brain's fuzzy, Chris. Potato and cheddar and green onion pierogies.
Oh, but they were like homemade ones?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's worth it. I wouldn't spend $6,000 on like those giant tiger ones. Like the $2.99 a bag ones. I wouldn't do that.
Yeah, it's wrong.
Yeah. See what I did this morning? Look at that.
Well, you got to fight with a cat. How come?
Yeah. That's what happens when you shave with a straight razor. You don't know your dog is in the room and she barks at you.
Oh.
Yeah.
Dog.
She's fine.
One boot-sized dent in her side.
Yeah, it's scary. And that's how I did that. Dent. I did that before with my last dog. I forgot too. I forgot not to shave with the dog in the room. But would you lose for House of Targ pierogies though, Lordy? Well, see, here's the thing, Peter. I didn't put that stipulation on myself. It's just pride keeping me going.
Really? So, you didn't have a slice of cheese at any point?
Well, there's been like some bad habits of I've been carrying some guilt around a couple cherry tomatoes for a few days, so.
Hey, listen, Nate Haverco is, we obviously didn't answer him the first time, but he's asking a second time, so we probably just put it up there and answer it.
Yeah.
But he says he's getting a Kiertske, so I say get a Bunka because they'll look the same. Or get a Santoku so they look different. Yeah. Santoku and Bunka is basically the same machine. It's just different shape,
Yep. Oh, Adrian's here. Hey, Adrian.
Is that Tex-Mex, Adrian?
Yeah. I would say,
great. Eating pierogies for a good cause.
Yeah. So Nate is asking what size. Bunkas and Santokus
generally come 165.
Yeah, yeah. Fujiwara makes like a 180 mil, and so do the Moritakas. They'll make 180 millimeter Santoku. But then you're getting kind of close to the size of your Kiritsuke. So I might just stick with the standard 165. Some people make smaller ones too, but they're a little harder to find. You know, the Miyabi Ko, they make like 140 mil Santoku, but you don't need that. You got a petty knife, and you know what? It looks like you're just building a collection for fun. I just get the one that makes you feel good. Don't really.
Well, you know what?
I don't know.
That's always the plan, right? Get the one that you go, that's the one I want.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say, Nate, the one that fits into your collection a little bit better is the 165.
Is it a Kobunka in the Shiroshu line?
Yeah, I actually have one. I'll go grab it.
And good at 240 Moritaka Kiritsuke.
I can't do that. Can't do that. But I'll get, you know what? I'll get I know.
Bummer.
I'll get the Shiroshu one. It's not what he's looking at, but at least it'll show people the size.
Listen, I hear that Dr. G said ninjas can get diseases.
He said bunkas can get diseases. He said if you get a bunka, it might. I think he's making I don't know if he's making a bunion joke or what. I don't know.
Is it bunion disease? Yeah, get that one.
Yeah.
Just get that one, because look at that. That's just.
Yeah, so this is 130 millimeters. It's 130 millimeters for that Kobunka. Yeah. Now this is a 240 Kiritsuke. It's not the Moritaka. It's not the Moritaka that Damon's talking about, but just so you get a bit of an idea about what we're talking. This you're not gonna like how much it cost me. It's $441. It's the Masashi Shiroshu Kobunka. I'll put that in the chat there for you.
Come on.
Yeah. Oh, it's worth it. Worth it, but it's that's why I say it costs a lot. I don't say that things are expensive. Because expensive indicates that it's not worth it.
I went to this weird launch of very expensive beds from Sweden that they make with horsehair and cotton and stuff. Beautiful beds. The kind of beds that kings and queens sleep on. The kind of beds that last for generations. Mattresses. And I went to this thing, and it was interesting. The guy there was the 4th generation owner of the company. And he said at the beginning, he said, our mattresses are not expensive. They just cost a lot of money.
Mm-hmm. There's a difference.
You know? Well, and that's what he said. He says, yeah, the bed is, a king-size bed was $6,000. He says, but when your grandson is using it,
yeah,
really that much money.
Not really, because you could spend even on a just okay mattress if you don't find one on sale or something. You can spend at least $2,000 on a king-size mattress. So, Nate, that's a great idea. Going into the store and having one of the staff kind of give you a tour of what they got in there, let you pick some stuff up. That's really the best way to go about it if you can. If you're that's how I prefer to do it. Lots of people have to.
If you're going to be in there anyway, just or think about the Masakagi Kiri Santoku.
Yeah,
that's kind of close to that price, I think. And what's that Shiso Santoku? How do you use Shiso?
Yeah, that's not going to be.
And that's a really great.
Actually, well, the new Haruyukis, the Shinogis,
those are just kind of a one and done situation.
Yeah, but he's going in on in a week or so. He said this is This is $203, and it's a SRS 13, so it's a quite hard stainless steel. Yeah, no, they're great.
Yeah, the Calgary store usually has lots of stock.
Yeah, the only I don't. That one there was the Haruyuki Shinogi. I'll type that in there for you too, Nate. the only reason that you probably have the impression that we don't have a lot of knives is because I'm in a store that's been closed for a month. So, you know, as we just haven't restocked the store that's not allowed to open the door.
Are you opening again soon?
So the lockdown in Ontario is supposed to be over on the 11th, meaning that we should be open on the 12th. Now the provincial government is going to be issuing an announcement on Monday. So I'm sure they'll tell us one way or the other what's going on.
They really are cutting it down to the wire, huh?
Oh, that's what they do. They wait until you get it all figured out, and then they tell you what's going to happen, so you get to change all your plans. But I'm not bitter, you know. There we go. So that's for Nate. Haruyuki Shinogi Santoku at 203.
Yeah, that's a great little knife, and I like that it's ground the way it is. You can sharpen that knife and use that knife, and it won't really change the look of it for years and years and years and years and years and years. That's I like that little guy.
Yeah.
We might be getting those more commonly, but that was a bit of a one and done because they'd make a bit of a mistake. They made something else. They thought they were making something else, and then they made that. They thought it was a different steel. Basically, they ground it the wrong way. You know, mistakes happen, right?
Yeah, that's a 165, Nate. Yeah.
Listen, Chris. My brain's really fuzzy today. I don't feel like I've been getting enough calories. I'm down 9 pounds since Monday.
Oh wow! I don't know that I've lost that much.
Chicken soup diet. Well, Mike told me to weigh myself on Monday morning.
Yeah.
He's like, we should see if you lose or gain. So I'm down 9 pounds. But on a guy my size, I'm a huge guy, really, right?
Yeah.
6'3" and big.
No.
9 pounds.
Yeah.
I could probably lose that much, you know, just going for a long run in the summer. Long run for me is 400 meters.
Yeah.
The last
time I broke into a run.
A long bike ride's 120. A long run is the end of the block.
Yeah, it's funny how it's different. So after we finished up on Thursday with our video, I hit up the old Dollarama on the way home and picked up a few packs of ramen, and so I'm down to like 27 cents or something ridiculous. I don't know.
I actually think I've overspent by because I went to the dollar store because I had $1 something left.
Yeah.
Went to buy a can of beans, just again to stretch my stuff out, and I bought a bag of cookies too. $1. So I'm pretty sure I'm about 40 something over on the spend, or maybe even 60. Yeah. And I stole 2 pierogies from the family, so I've cheated totally. Yeah. So now I'm going to have to be writing a check currently because I'm going to double whatever I raise. So currently I have to write, I'm exactly $6,000. So somebody has just made a pledge. Mecky has just,
Mecky
has just caused me, Mecky works for us and he's just caused me to pay $46 more out of my pocket. Thank you, Mecky.
Yeah. Mecky knows what's up. So we've got a couple of, so Nate has asked, I got a free sharpening with my knife that his grandpa got him for Christmas. Do the free sharpenings expire?
They will expire once Knifewear is over.
Okay.
The day that Knifewear crashes into the ground and the liquidation company moves in is when those expire. So yeah, no, you're good. A lot of people, for some reason, because we say like a lot of people like to get their knives sharpened every 8 months to a year. Sometimes people hear that and then they say, oh, okay, I get a free sharpening after the first year. But it doesn't, because people call. I don't know if you remember, if that ever happens to you, Kevin, but they'll call and they'll say like, oh, I got my knife 2 years ago. Is my sharpening still good? And yeah, it's fine. It covers any, the kind of first round of repairs too. Like if, sorry, go on.
Yeah, like if anyone kind of got at your knife, and I've learned that a chip in a knife is almost never caused by the person who owns the knife. That's rare. So it's when like someone jumped in and decided they were gonna help make dinner, and then they chipped your knife or broke the tip or something like that. But any of that stuff's all covered with that first sharpening.
We had somebody read a review recently. I think they bought the knife in Edmonton, like 2 years ago, and then they're in Ottawa now, and they had you sharpen it recently, and they were shocked that we would still honor it. They were shocked that we would honor it after 2 years, which of course we do, and they were shocked that we'd honor it at a different store in a different city, and of course we would.
Yeah.
I think the problem is that most offers come with small print that tell you it's not a very good deal, and ours doesn't. Ours is just an honest, good offer. I think that's
need it sharpened. We'll take care of it.
Right? Yeah.
First free sharpening covers when you try and cut the stem off of the squash with a Masashi. Sure does.
Damon, what did you do recently?
Yeah, sure does, Damon. And Nate was watching, and we said, don't smash garlic with a knife because it can bend it. Can? Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of a bad habit. Sean, I might have left that phone downstairs.
But you don't, like, you can put your knife, like, you can rest your knife on the garlic and just kind of push down.
Yeah, it's the...
This, bam!
Yeah, that's what...
It's because I've done it before, right?
Yeah. Oh, it's a blast.
Hey, he was watching a live video with the Ontario people. Do you know anything about Ontario people, Chris? Because I'm from Alberta, and Ontario people, they're up themselves, man. They just talk about how great Ontario is.
They do.
The universe. You don't have anything to say about that?
I just live amongst them.
Oh, you're in Ottawa. You're in Ontario too.
Yeah. Yeah. I just live amongst them. I don't, not necessarily one of them. That's the nice thing about having been born in Newfoundland, is that you will always be accepted as a Newfie, despite the fact that you only lived there for a very short period of time. Yeah. We had someone over on Instagram ask what we're actually doing today. So,
who knows?
Who knows? So,
coffee, Chris. I'll be right back.
Go for it. So, I didn't even introduce what we're doing, but this is Japanese Knife 101. So these days, because my store is closed because of the lockdown, Kevin and I, or myself, and it's one of several people, will we get together just like this and we have a conversation. You know, we talk a little bit about, you know, maybe you need help picking out a new knife, maybe you're interested in sharpening a knife or maintaining one, you're curious about a blacksmith, or you're curious about how to maintain, how to pick out a new knife, what you should look for in a knife, things that we're currently excited about, the goings on, you know, just like that. Kev Bean, we know instant coffee is very sad, but you know what's going on. You made a nice donation earlier. And Justin, I don't know if you're saying that you're unfollowing us, but I'm sorry to hear that. So, but yeah, no, this is what we do. So this is Knifewear's Ask Me Anything. So if you had anything like cooking, knives, knife maintenance, choosing a knife, you want to know a little bit more about the people who make the knives and how they do it, this is your opportunity to go for it, you know?
Sorry, what was that comment, Chris? You said Justin, I'm sorry.
No, well, instant coffee, or Kev Bean says instant coffee, so sad. And Justin says, unfollow you guys. I don't know if he's telling us that he's unfollowed us, or the reason.
My instant coffee is disgusting. Okay, but $24 a month this challenge, or this week, I mean, this challenge we're on, I couldn't afford coffee. I couldn't afford to buy coffee other than I spent $1. This was like a luxury item, and I spent $1 on instant coffee. It's terrible, Chris.
Yeah,
but
you've mentioned.
But it's the two options I get to drink are glass of water.
Yep.
Instant coffee.
Yeah.
Or glass of water flavored like it's been sitting on the table all night. So it's probably got cat nose prints in it. Yeah.
Kev Bean is asking if we've heard of Arcos, which is a brand from Spain, and we do, yeah. So we actually sell Arcos knives. 13. So they the reason why we like them is because we specialize in Japanese knives, right? Japanese knives are something like they're generally made with a much harder steel. That means that they're going to get a lot sharper. They're going to keep their edge a lot longer. There's a lot of kind of romance and cool stories with the handmade item, right? Now, the thing that a Japanese knife doesn't do the best is North American style butchery. So if you are intending on cutting through a chicken and you want to go through the bones and so on, a Japanese knife isn't your best bet. So we've got these great knives from Spain called Arcos. They make some really great cleavers. They've got, knives for busting up a wheel of parm. They've got a couple of more kind of rough and tumble boning knives, like a ham slicing knife and things like that. So you know what? The Spanish make good food, so their knives are pretty good too.
Do you know what? Our Arcos rep, I meet with him in Frankfurt every year when we go to a MBN, big trade show. And I love this guy. He's so awesome. We show up and he's like, "Hey, Kevin, come in." And he immediately brings me over because they always have a ham. And there's a guy slicing Iberico ham for you. So he just brings me ham, throws some kind of a Spanish or German lager in my hand, like a Beck's or a, what's that one? What's that Spanish one? Estrella?
I don't know.
Anyway, so you just get a very European lager tasting beer and some ham, and throws me at a table and says, "Can I keep your bags at the back?" Because him and I talk about Japan a lot. He has spent a lot of time in Japan, and he's convinced that Japanese food and Spanish food are the same. Because I was convinced of it too. He says the only thing you have to do is if you take away the olive oil and add soy sauce.
You're not far.
It's real similar.
Well, that's like whenever we get the blacksmiths around, they always like to go to places like, I don't know, in Ottawa, they like North and Navy, and they like Supply and Demand because they like noodles, they like fish. It's an easy one, So we had a few questions there, or a couple comments as well. Nate is asking, what's our favorite knife in the store right now?
I've got mine in front of me right now.
Okay.
And hey, it's Nate that's asking, right?
Yep.
Look what it is. It's Kobanka. So this is the Kobanka from Sakai Uhl. And I'm trying to show it on two strings. Let's see if I can just slide that over. There we go. So it's Sakai Uhl Kobanka. It's shirogami with ironclad. It is just what I would call your very typical Japanese karochi knife.
Yeah.
But look at how high the shinogi is. That grind line is so high, which means the blade's going to be so thin, it's going to cut like crazy. And they've gone and put, if you look here, they've gone and put a mirror polish on the spine.
Yeah, I'm excited to see that.
It's a mirror polish. And then again on the dreaded choil here. So this part here is called the choil.
Yep.
And sometimes people ask us when they're buying knives online to give us a choil shot, which I always think sounds
kind of dirty.
Sounds so. Give me a choil here. Hey, buddy, here's my choil shot.
Yeah.
But anyway, there we go. That's my favorite knife in the shop. You probably don't have them at your store yet.
No, not yet. No.
I think the Calgary store has them, but that's it. I don't think anybody else has them yet.
Yeah, I think they're in the post.
Sweet. But Sakai Uhl, what's the name of these guys? Do you remember?
That's what they're called, Sakai Uhl.
Sakai Uhl is the company.
I think they're just like the shirogami one.
No, they're called Sumi. Sumi. S-U-M.
Okay.
Sumi. But anyways, that's my favorite knives in the shop. They're brand new and super duper my style.
Yeah. Yeah, Nelto was giving me a little more info on those guys, because I had to help someone with a little more info and I didn't have it. So it's the same blacksmith who makes those Sakai Kikumoris, whose name I can't remember. Tanaka. Yeah.
Chris?
Sorry?
Do you want to know how good this is? $1 instant coffee?
Oh, I bet you it's not good. I bet you it's going to make other people leave our thing. They're going to unfollow us. That's
my tip for the day. If you have to buy $1 instant coffee, this is the only brand you should buy. It probably is the only brand you can buy. So there you go. This is the one. Good.
Blank Blank says that I think I only chipped my knife when I ground an Algami 2 mystery knife down to a 0 bevel with no koba. It was insanely sharp, but super weak, which is why. So here's a little bit of terminology. I'm going to get a knife that you can see what I'm talking about on.
And I'm going to draw a picture.
Okay. So when we're looking at a knife, we call this part of the knife the shinogi, or the primary bevel. You'll hear that called sometimes. And when Blank Blank says a koba, it's referring to the little edge on the end. Sometimes we call it a blade road. Okay, it's that shiny bit you see in the camera here. You know, when the edge catches the light, that's the koba. And that's why we put a koba on a knife. Is like, you know, you thin it down till it's flat, 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 and you've got a perfect point like that. And Kevin's picture is going to do better than my hand.
Maybe.
Yeah, but if you sharpen it down so it's flat, flat, flat like that, it's very, very thin and likely very fragile. So then what we do is we sharpen a little koba on it, and it gives it a little bit of strength. So the whole knife isn't as fragile, or the edge is not as fragile as it would be without.
Bisected the knife, right? It would look like this guy right here. So the sides are straight, and then down here is when it starts to angle down to the bottom here, right? And that's the part that's sharp. That's called shinogi. And if we zoom into this part right here, you know how hard this is, Chris? It's backward in the video, and I'm looking at it.
I know, it's confusing.
It's really hard. But then you go up here. That's where I'm trying to get. That's where I'm trying to get. And you can see that they've sharpened it a little bit right at the end. And that's like a superimposed version of it, and that's the koba. So that just makes the edge more strong, is what they're talking about. And you could leave it without the koba, but it would break, like you said. But it'd be insanely sharp. Takeda-san sharpens like that with no koba.
Yeah, but he also uses a very small.
He's very fat rather than very, very thin. Most. So that knife is a very thin shinogi, and Takedas are really, really wide. So he doesn't bother putting a koba on the end. And
then Mount Everest has asked that I'm not any good recommendations for a chocolate shop in the area. There's a place
by Rob's.
Yeah, so they've moved.
Oh, okay.
I believe that they are called. I believe I looked it up. They're called Siley Artisan Chocolatier.
That's the one.
Yeah. Now they're pretty fancy down there. You know, they make nice stuff.
I bought a little robot, hand painted robot chocolate that big. It was only 8 small Canadian dollars.
Yeah.
Which is like 75 cents American. So that's a good deal.
But then there's another place here in the Glebe called Alicia Confections. I've bought lots of stuff from them, and their stuff's good too. They do these like little postcard bars where they put like weird shit in them. It's good. Maeve likes it.
Hey, do you want to put this one up? Trevor's asking, in the event the handle ever needs to be replaced on the Sakai wool, is it possible to replace? Or do you put a traditional 2-handle with collar on it? No. Here we go. So, yeah, if this, any Japanese blade or any Japanese handle, so a simple piece like this, I wonder if I've got one without a handle I can show you. But anyway, Chris, you talk about that, about how the handles go on and how Japanese handles are replaced all the time. And you can upgrade all the time. And I think I have just the thing to explain it.
Yeah, so a Japanese handle, they usually, like what Troy is asking about is, like the Sakai Uul is one piece of oak, all right? Whereas most Japanese handles have 2 sections to them. What we call like the collar and then the rest of the handle. So the handle here, in this case, is made out of magnolia with a paca wood collar. Now what they do, and this is another piece of jargon for you, is the tang of a knife. So Kevin will kind of, you want to point, Kevin, show them what the tang is on the knife?
Well, here, this is like a partially forged knife. It actually looks like it's probably done forging. They're going to have to straighten it, obviously, flatten it, straighten it, heat treat it, grind it, polish it, sharpen it, engrave it, and put a handle on. still. But this is, the hammering's more or less done on this knife at this point, right? We see the handle, or the tang is this metal part here. And all you do is you just kind of put it in, boop, a wooden handle.
Yep.
There's a little bit more to that. You get it hot up, you burn it in, and sometimes, like we do, we always put a bit of glue in there as well, because people don't like when their handle falls off.
No.
But there you go. That's what it looks like, the tang. Now, if you've got a Western style handle like this guy, you've got the tang, which is the piece of steel that runs all the way through this handle in that shape, and then it's got 1, 2, 3 rivets, sometimes 2, but and then it's often got a metal bolster here. So that's a very Western style handle, but these are Japanese style handles. The Japanese style handles are better in my mind because you can replace them if they get damaged.
Yeah.
This way,
and depends on what feels good in your hand, though, right? You know.
Well, and like here I am talking about it, and I've got a Western handle knife right here in my hand.
Yeah.
Of my selection, right?
Yeah.
Collection.
So there's no real catch-all, but that's one of the things. Like that's an often argued fact about a knife, is that one style of handle is better than another. People like will reference like the balance point of a knife. Like when you have a Japanese handle on a knife, the knife is going to feel a little more heavy, like a little heavier in the front. You might like that, you might not. The best way to know is to pick it up. But I assure you that one is not necessarily better than the other. It just has more to do with your own preferences.
Yeah, there's no right answer. It's just what you want out of life, right?
Yeah.
That's it.
I wanted to there's someone watching us on Instagram, and I wanted to answer their question. There's someone named Woogtonium has a question about steel. Trying to learn more about cobalt specialty steel and wondering if this is a good steel versus
more about it too. Sorry.
RG2. So I'm thinking RG2 might be SG2 or R2, like one of the powdered steels. I would say that it is not as hard of a steel as R2, but it tends to, it's almost like in a little class of its own, Kevin? Like it gets really sharp and holds its edge for a really long time without being particularly brittle. Like I can get it sharper than a lot of VG10 knives, but it seems to be more durable than a VG10 knife of the same hardness. It's a weird one.
I agree, actually. My experience with it, now, not a lot of knives are made with it, right? So I don't have a ton of experience with it yet. But my experience thus far is that it won't stay as sharp, or it wouldn't stay sharp as long as SG2. But you can get it feeling blazing sharp, and you can also, it's more rugged. Like I just feel that if you do something to an SG2 or an R2 steel knife, and then you do the same with the cobalt, if one of them's going to chip, it'll be the SG2.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Now, none of our knives, I would call them 4x4s. They're all Ferraris, right? They're all you got to be nice to them. But I really think that cobalt steel is more rugged, and you can tell too by the number of knives we've replaced or repaired chips out of from customers, and it's essentially zero.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't had to fix a chipped like Sasame, for instance. And I picked out a couple Sasames for my father-in-law because I presumed he was going to be hard on the knives. Now, he's done a really good job of taking care of them, but he's had no issues. It's time for me to sharpen them. He's had them for 2 years. But yeah, no issues. And I thought for sure we were going to have something he wanted, but he wanted something that was handmade and had a story. And I was hard pressed to find to figure out what was going to work, just based on the way I saw him treat, like, the IKEA knives that he already had. So
get him a Sugimori.
Yeah, I was between those and the Sasame, but he wanted the Japanese handle, so we went Sasame. But there's been, like I said, not a single problem. So
that's amazing.
I'm pretty happy about that. Dr. G has a joke for us there. What do frog bladesmiths use to attach their handles? Ribbits.
Ribbits. What?
But Dr. G also had another question.
It's got me thinking about Switzerland.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about Switzerland again. Is there anything you know about? Do you know much about Switzerland?
Yeah, they have 4 official languages in Switzerland.
Can you name them?
Well, I don't know if it's actually called Swiss.
It's not.
So I don't know the name of it, but they speak German and Italian and French, and then this other Swiss language. It all depends on what kind of quadrant of Switzerland you grow up in is what's going to dictate what you talk.
That's more than I know. I don't know much. I just know their flag's a big plus.
Yeah, I was prepared for that one.
Big plus, Chris. The flag's a big plus.
Yeah. Dr. G is asking, what meals are we looking forward to, and what knives are we going to use when we're allowed to eat whatever we want?
You know what I'm really looking forward to? It's a glass of beer or a glass of wine. Because the $24 budget didn't allow for booze at all.
No.
And
no.
How come, Chris, you look so depressed when Kevin is speaking about his love for Switzerland and the flag being a big plus? Why do you look so sad when that happens, Chris?
Oh, who else? You know what, Maxim, I think you're just contributing to it at this point. Saying that.
Yeah, thanks. Bring it up again.
Yeah. I was trying to find a question. So, Dr. G, I'm going to cook a ribeye and have a Caesar salad for my lunch on Monday.
I like that idea.
Yeah. Here, but TJ's got a question. Thinking about pulling the trigger on my first Kyoto Japanese knife from Terayasu Fujiwara, 210 or 21 centimeters. What's your opinion? I know what Kevin's opinion is.
I've got 3 from Fujiwara 210 Gyutos. So that's my opinion is get a Western handle with a finger notch. Like get a Mabaroshi or a Denka and do it. It'll blow your mind.
Yeah.
It'll blow your mind. I've got 3. I love the knife. It fits my hand perfect. It looks great. It's got that finger notch that really, if that captures your imagination, that little finger notch, you will own one eventually.
Yeah.
And
all you have to do is hold on to it.
Phenomenal. His knives are phenomenal. Big fan because they're awesome. So there you go.
And then over on Instagram, recently picked up a Yoshimi Kato Damascus 240 Gyuto. That's awesome. It says thin as can be. I love it, but I really need something 240 and thicker than my Kato and Shiro Camo. Any suggestions? Moritaka? 240 Moritaka is a little bit thicker, a little more rugged than a super thin.
No, get something from Masashi.
Yeah.
Get something from Masashi. Masashi's 240s are rugged, man.
Yeah, that's true.
And it doesn't matter which one. They're all fantastic.
It could be a Kamuri, Shiroshu.
Go up on the sexy scale, I suppose.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, his 240, the Koi, the only big difference I find in the Masashi 240s, in the way that they feel, is that the Masashi Koi has a bigger handle on it than the others.
It's got a higher grind on it too.
Yeah.
That's actually an excellent point. Don't get a Koi. Don't get a Koi. Ignore that. Get a Kimuri, Shiroshu, or Kuroshu Masashi. Get the Kuroshu, because Chris, you have that one. I have that one.
I do have one. Yeah.
It's just such, and I've actually got that knife you're holding there too. I'm a fan, man. Those look like that. The ridges there. That looks like.
This isn't a sketch comedy show. All right, this isn't.
It looks like the Earth for when you're really far away.
Yeah.
See if you can play that video, Chris.
I can try again, but you need to tell Damon why you rescinded on why not a Masashi Koi.
Oh, because the Masashi Koi, the way he's ground the blade, he's basically made the blade a little bit thinner. The way he's ground it. So when it's thinner, it's not going to be quite as rugged. And you're asking for something a little bit fatter and more rugged. So the other ones are ground slightly more rugged and slightly fatter.
Yeah.
I hope that answers your question. I was sure it would be Roku gin, not pierogies, that would break you, Kevin. Oh, yeah. You know what? I just want whiskey right now, or a glass of beer or something. Let me just say, the zero booze has been no fun also. Low calories of this $24 eat. if in case you don't know, Chris and I are doing the Operation Come Home $24 challenge. Operation Come Home works with at-risk youth in Ottawa. They say right on their front page of their website that they want to prevent homeless youth becoming homeless adults. And they don't mean rounding them up and killing them. They mean helping them become homed and get jobs. And one of the girls through their program recently, after she had paid her rent and her bills and her bus pass and everything like that, the amount of money she had left over for food out of her budget was $20 a week.
Yeah.
So having a challenge where Chris and I and Alex, who also works at the Ottawa shop, are just spending $24 only this week for our food. And let me just say, a $30 bottle of wine didn't fit in the $24 budget at all. So we haven't had any either.
No. I
instant coffee. So we're collecting. Maybe you can throw the link up there, Chris, on the comment. So we're collecting sponsorships, and here's a bad thing. I told everybody I would double it if I cheated or overspent, and I think I've overspent by a few pennies, and I did cheat yesterday. I stole 2 pierogies from my family's meal. So I'm doubling it. Anything we raise, which is $6,000 now, which is crazy. So,
yeah.
And this is all goes to Operation Come Home. Maybe you can tell us what they do, Chris. You're on their board of directors.
Yeah, so Operation Come Home works, like Kevin said, with at-risk youth. They've got a pretty wide, it's kind of funny to put it this way, but we have a wide, they have a wide menu of services is the term that they use. And it's kind of, they try to be a one-stop shop for the young people who need them. They have a drop-in center where you can go in and get a warm breakfast or maybe some food to go. They've got they've got counselors there who can help with employment. They've got addiction counselors. There's a school in the upstairs. There's a school where you could go and get your high school diploma. There's that one of the things that they specialize in is something called a social enterprise, because a lot of these, like, Operation Come Home is the place to go if everyone else has told you to piss off. Like, if the Shepherd's of Good Hope, if they don't want to help you, if the mission doesn't want to help you, like if you're particularly troubled, and that happens, these places will ban people for one reason or another. But Operation Come Home, like, you've got to be really violent or something extraordinary has to happen for you to be told you're no longer welcome. But they kind of cover all the bases. But their big thing is this idea of what's a social enterprise, because a lot of these young people are, by traditional standards, unemployable for one reason or another. And so they create jobs that these folks can do. And so the kind of the lady who's the executive director over there, her name is Elspeth, and she's also doing this challenge. She's very much of the school of thought that if you teach a man to fish, kind of you'll feed him. If you'll feed him forever. So the idea is, if you can get these kids working, and then if you can get them a job and give them a reason to get up in the morning and kind of put one foot in front of the other, then you can start focusing on everything else. So they have a couple social enterprises. Bottle Works is one, which is essentially it's like a bottle drive on wheels. Restaurants
right?
Yeah, and condos as well. So what'll happen is you can sign up and have a couple of bins delivered, and then they'll just come and take the bins, and the people in the condos just throw their bottles in there. Restaurants will do the same thing. The past year has been difficult for that, so they've actually started doing like kind of public drop-off days, which were really successful in different parts of town. If you had bottles and you wanted to get them to Operation Come Home, you can always drop them off at the Ottawa store as well. A lady today dropped off a whole case of wine bottles for them. So, cool. It's good. It's what they do, good work, and it's important. So, Dr. G, that is rough.
Dr. G, that's terrible. I'm not even. I'm not even repeating that
But here, Maxim.
until we're drinking one night together.
Yeah. Maxim is saying that she's never seen a 240 Gyuto from Fujiwara. It seems like a popular size, but maybe only outside of Japan. So is there any reason why he does make them?
Can I answer that one? Can I get it? I like that one.
Do it.
If you go to our website, we've always got 240s from him. So one, go to our website and look for Fujiwara knives. You'll find 240s. Two, he makes them. Three, the balance is off from my mind. I usually like 240s. I always get 210s of his. I think 240s are too unbalanced somehow. Also, if he charges $2 for a 210 millimeter knife, he doesn't really like to make 240, so he charges double for 240. So most people, most stores will double the markup as well. Basically, you'll end up looking at, well, the 210 is $420. Why is the 240 $800?
Yeah.
Right. We don't do that. We actually sell them for a lot less because it didn't make any sense to me. But yeah, people don't really like them. They feel a bit unwieldy. And then again, there's the huge price jump. And that's just because he doesn't like making them. So he just prices them accordingly.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I'll get to Troy's question here, but TJ Ronan is asking Denka, what does this mean and why are they more expensive? Well, Denka is only kind of the nickname for them. It's actually Denka no Hoto, which means I believe it's a celebrated family sword or cherished family sword.
Yeah, Fujiwara-san makes swords as well, or at least has.
Yeah.
Doesn't do it anymore. And he really likes swords, and he likes the whole past and these ideas of honor and fighting with swords. And he's a big history. He just likes that style, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, that's where the name comes from.
Yeah. Oh, and I guess they're more expensive because they're made out of one of the hardest steels you can make a knife out of, which is Algami Super. He also does all of his own forge welding in-house. Like, he makes his own Sanmai steel, which means when we say Sanmai, it's like a 3-piece construction where you'll take, if this paper here is your hard carbon steel, well, you'll jacket it in something softer, which sounds funny because we're talking about metal, but it's soft. They're like relatively softer one to the other, which will kind of protect the core steel. It makes it less likely to like if you were to drop it, it's not a guaranteed shatter, So he does that himself, whereas most blacksmiths just purchase that ready to go. And the fact that he does it himself, he's starting with, the average blacksmith is starting with something, that thick and hammers it into knife thickness, whereas Fujiwara is starting with something 3 times as thick, which then results in a denser steel, which becomes harder. And the reason why we care about hardness is because a harder steel, generally speaking, makes a sharper knife that'll keep its edge longer, which, I don't know, that's all you want in a knife, I think. It's a sharp knife that stays sharp for a long time. So
there we go.
Oh, and Maxim, you don't have to feel bad. We don't expect every person to. No, don't listen to him.
Cry yourself to sleep tonight.
Yeah.
That's my lack of calories talking.
Yeah.
To drink some more instant coffee.
Yeah. So, what is Ryan asking us here?
I don't know. Throw some questions up, man. Let's just do some. I saw someone ask, there's lots of art behind you. Do you like art? The answer is, yeah. It's nice to have pretty stuff on the wall.
Yeah, that was neat. I think asked you that. You know what, Ryan?
Makes this room, it makes my office look really huge, this trick camera, so that's quite good too.
Yeah. Ryan, that's your best bet, man. Head down to the store and just say that exact phrase. I'm interested in whatever is newer than what I have. They'll find there's some cool stuff making its way in, so they'll find something fun for you. You'll have a good time, that's for sure.
Check out the Iuls as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Those are great. You want me to try to put this video?
Did you find it?
I think I found it. Yeah. Now we can see if I can do it. That's the hard part. The share screen is the hard part. So I'm going to go like that.
Hard. You just have to push. Look at that. Look at me a little.
Share screen.
This is just something I found. This is something stupid I found on the internet the other day.
No,
that made me laugh. I'm gonna think about this for a long time. It's a clip from the Home Shopping Network.
Yeah. Okay. So
I'm gonna think about this for make it bigger.
Can you see it?
Press the button that makes it full screen.
Okay. But you can see it.
I can
now
see.
I got to unmute it. All right.
I can hear it yet. Just unplug your headphones, maybe.
Maybe. Oh, is that what's happening? You can't hear it because I got my headphones in.
Maybe.
Maybe. Well, here, we'll try. There we go.
No, the moon is the planet, darling.
The moon is not a planet.
What else is it if it's not a planet?
So who's right?
Back it up.
All right.
Put it to the beginning. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Well, I think what I found here is two people arguing about how dumb that possibly was. I don't think I found the original clip.
No, that was it, I think. You just heard me saying, put it back to the beginning.
There we go. Well, I'll try again.
Covering the butt and wearing of a legging?
Yes.
So far, so good. Designer Isaac Mizrahi and QVC co-host Sean Killinger.
Hello. Hi.
Solid ground.
It's so amazing.
Then they come to describe the seafoam option.
It kind of looks like what the Earth looks like when you're a bazillion miles away from the planet.
Yes.
Moon.
The planet.
Isn't the moon a star?
No, the moon is the planet, darling.
The moon is not a planet.
What else is it if it's not a planet?
It's not.
So who's right?
The moon is a moon. The moon is not a star or a planet.
The moon
I
is
knew it
such
was
a
not
planet.
Pause. Look at that model, head in hands.
The moon is not a planet.
What else is it if it's not a
It
planet?
is not. I believe it's a star.
What?
I can't watch that anymore. That's too much.
Well, I wish you'd found the real one, not that weird one, because it's great. They just go on and talking, and the one lady is saying, "The moon, it's a star. It's not a planet," and the other one says, "Of course, it's a planet. Look at everything that lives on the moon. Nothing can live on the sun."
Oh, I didn't get to that point.
Incredible. Oh, it's incredible. I've watched it a number of times. I've been amazed by it. I'm going to think about that for years.
Yeah, that's going to come up.
Arguing about these two people.
Yeah, well, it made me think about, well, just the moon is a moon. You know, that's like, but then I started questioning it. You know,
Well, the moon is a satellite. It's a natural satellite, not a man-made satellite.
Oh, here, iceberg's got it.
Pluto's not.
Iceberg's bringing it back to knives. How often do we have single bevel Hanasukis in stock? They show up from time to time. Fujiwara makes them sometimes.
If you're after one, let me know. Send me an email.
Yeah.
Send me an email at chris@knifewear.com.
That's not your name.
CHRIS, not KRIS.
Yeah, that's not your name at all. I'm looking to see if we've got any. The Tojiro DP isn't really a Hana, like it's not really single bevel, but it does lean to one side a little bit more than the other.
Fujiwara, often the Fujiwara Hanasukis come in single bevel. He seems to make whatever he feels like for Hanasukis and sends them to us on our order.
Yeah, they're
just whatever he likes. So they are very different all the time.
Yeah.
So if you're looking for one, send us an email.
There's this one.
My name is Naoto, Naoto. So Naoto at knifewear.com. Send me an email, and I will find one for you. That's not a problem.
We have that one. We have the Sakai Takayuki ones. And that's a 180. It's a bit big. Yeah. I don't know if it's too big for chickens. I think
bigger chickens, man.
Yeah, there we go. That's the answer. So, I'm looking to see if there's any other ones.
Rails yet? I can't even tell. Has this gone off the rails? Did it ever start?
I think we're doing okay. We never did talk about what Nathan told us our subject was today.
we were supposed to talk about how we got into cooking.
Yeah.
I can cover that in 1 minute. I got out of high school and I needed a job. So I started cooking because that's the kind of job you can get without any experience.
Yeah.
And I didn't go to university or college or anything because that cost a lot of money. I couldn't afford it. And then I continued cooking. And then one day I realized, it's not so bad. I might like this career. And the government had a program where I could go on UI and go to school for 3 months out of each year as an apprentice cook. And I did that. And then I stayed cooking. Glamorous. I fell into it because I was lazy and uneducated. Eventually, I got good at it.
Yeah.
And now I work retail. How about you, Chris? Do you have an exciting story like that?
I don't know. I started cooking when I was in high school. I got a job. Before I started cooking, I had a bunch of weird jobs. Like I worked on a dairy farm for a while, and I was
Were you a milker?
I had milk.
Or did you put the suckers on?
I had the suckers. It's too long to milk a cow by hand, and there's
I've milked a lot of goats by hand.
To do.
I milked a lot of goats by hand, and every time I felt like it's just very personal.
Feels like it's kind of like sharing your choil shot with someone, milking a goat.
It's right up. It's the same.
In the same vein, right?
Here's my choil.
But then,
let me milk a goat.
My dad's younger brother. I never really call him my uncle because we ended up working together. He was a cook. He had gone to culinary school and then called me my 14th birthday or something and said, "Hey, happy birthday. I got you a job. I've already spoken to your father. You work on Saturday and Sunday mornings." Like, that's not a good gift. I don't like that. So I was a dishwasher for a couple of years, and then I just so we started off at a golf course together, and then the golf course closed in the winter. We went over to a restaurant downtown, and I just kind of stuck there for a while, washing dishes, started making salads, started making pizzas. Then I ended up decided I wanted to go to culinary school, and it was fun for a while. You get to do a lot of things as a cook that normal people don't get to do. It's not weird that you stay up all night and sleep all day. I kind of like that for my 20s. Got to listen to music all day, horse around. I kind of do that now anyways.
Yeah.
Horse around a lot.
I'll tell you the things that I really liked about cooking for me is that even though I was making poverty wages, I still ate really well.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was cooking at the nicest restaurants in town, so I was eating really good food.
Yeah.
I was having a very organic and local food diet, even though I was making money. So that was good.
Yeah.
Good in London. I had a really high-profile job in London, so that every time I'd show up at a nice restaurant, usually somebody in the kitchen knew who I was. Mm-hmm. London takes care of chefs, so I would go to nice restaurants like Morrow, for example, and pay very little or nothing for my meals. Right? The chefs would take care of each other. And I go to my local pizza place and pay all of it, and then go to Ramsay's restaurant and pay 20%. Or free. Yeah. Right. So that was a good thing about being a cook for sure. Dr. G says, here's cooking as a young person's profession. Is that true? And I think, yeah, it is. It's because it's physically demanding. You're on your feet for 8, 10, 12 hours a day and just working hard, right? It's just hard work and lots of squats and going into the fridge at your feet and things like that. And it's just physically and mentally taxing work.
Yeah. See, I struggled with like the lifestyle that came around it. After, like, in addition to the hard, like it is hard work, but then it's also there's a lot of drinking, there's a lot of recreational pharmaceuticals associated with cooking, and if you kind of fall into that, it's just.
But you know why that happens, right? Because you work hard and you're like really at a physical and mental height at the end of your day. You clean up and you go home and you get out of the kitchen at 1 or 2, maybe midnight. And what are you going to do? right? You've got a lot of energy to burn off, and you're really like,
Yeah.
the adrenaline's going still. You're still really active. You need to calm down, or you need to do something anyway. You're not going to go and play frisbee at the park at 2 in the morning.
No.
Right? So like at 2 or 1 or midnight, whatever it is, right? Like you need to calm down. You need to do something that isn't work, but your options are very, very limited that time of day.
Yeah, no, that's a really good way to put it. I saw you measuring a knife. Was that because you were looking at what Damon had to say? What Damon was asking?
Yeah, Damon's asking, maybe put it up there. He's looking for a tall Gyuto, but 50 centimeters is pretty, or sorry, 50 millimeters is pretty much the normal kind of height of a Japanese Gyuto. Maybe that Masashi's bigger. Who's that one we always get in for the garage sale that I love the shape of? They're really tall and they kind of come down to almost like a point. And I can't remember. No, it's somebody that it's somebody Naoto knows, and I've never met.
Ogata?
That's the one, Ogata. We don't have any of those, and I think they're really good. Kagura-san, but he's retired.
Yeah. What about this? I'm going to measure this knife that you want. This yoke or this Kuma. Yeah, that one's just like 48 millimeters, 49 millimeters.
And that's really common. Yeah. Why do you have a Kuma there? I want one.
Well,
I want that knife, man.
You know what? A Kurosaki in a 240. Yeah, that would be like, he makes a lot of stuff out of R2. And then he's messing around with that SRS 13 quite a bit lately too. That would be a good option for you. You know, if we had like a Mugen, if we still had Mugen 240s, that would fit the bill. Do we?
It's not really that tall though.
No. Anyway. What about? I'm looking at that. No, those ZDPs are only made in only up to a 210. Those Yoshida ones. That would be a fun knife too.
I'm taking this to my kitchen. I'm going to be back.
Okay.
Something I want to measure. See if I can't find something.
Okay. Oh, Dork's asking over on Instagram about the Kuma. That's a Haruyuki Kuma 240 Gyuto right there, my friend. So, okay, I'll hold on to it as if I was going to use it. Try not to fall off this stool. There we go. So.
Yeah, Chris, I can't find anything tall.
Yeah.
50. It's just a really common. It's like the standard way to build a knife, really. It's like the standard kind of Japanese Gyuto height.
Yeah, Masashi will get you another 0.5 centimeter. That guy Ogata, yeah, he made, because those Nikiris he made too were even taller than a Masakage Nikiri. He likes to make tall knives.
His Gyutos, I love the shape of those.
Yeah, let me see if I can find, because if we had it in the last garage sale or a couple garage sales ago, it should, unless Ellie went and turned them off, and she might have, but yeah, it's not there. So.
Are we getting a Hinura Yanagiba 300 for the garage sale, possibly? I don't know, man. I have all kinds of orders in with Hinura. He just makes what he likes and sends me whatever he feels like. So I have no idea, to be honest. Sometimes ordering with some of these guys, like Hinura's famous for it, and Takamura. I described it in a film once that I said, sometimes I just write the order on a piece of paper, stick it in a bottle, and throw the bottle in the ocean. and that's really the best I can do. So what's coming in with Hinura? Stay tuned. Who knows? Hey, Ronan. Who knows? Yeah.
Troy's asking about Takeda NAS, the Moriya Higos. I'm going to go take a look and see if I have any. And then other Japanese outdoor knives. Yeah, well, Saji, like, especially with garage sale, we'll get a couple from Takeda.
They are. You can go to our website, kentofinglewood.com, to see all of those. To be honest, we've got all of our hunting knives and folding knives at our sister shops, Kent of Inglewood, kentofinglewood.com. And
I
that's
do
where
have
they
one of
don't
those.
have the Knifewear stores anymore. Although Chris has got a little secret Kent of Inglewood store at the back of his knife store.
Yeah.
So he's got some stuff. So let's see,
So-
Chris.
This is what Troy is asking about.
Oh man, you know it's the pink handle ones that I love.
Yeah, this one's kind of purpley.
Yeah, I like that
So
one
it's all
too.
like stabilized wood and burl woods. So Takeda-san forges the blades, and they're all super unique. Like we had 3 of them in the store at one time, and none of them had the same blade shape at all. This one was very long and skinny. There was another one that was about a centimeter shorter and fatter. So he forges the blades and then hands them over to his buddy, who does the who makes the handles. So they're all super unique, you know. But yeah, it's super blue carbon steel, stainless steel jacket, this really funky stabilized wood handle with some nice touches on it, like it's kind of polished up nice in the back, and they're centered really well, and there's kind of everything you want in a folding knife. They're like just tight enough too, like they don't, like it's like a friction lock, I guess is the word. But they're gorgeous. Do you have one of those, Kevin? Do you have a knife like that? I know you have like a little Takeda, like the little lock blade.
Chris, I have a lot of pocket knives. I like, excuse me, I like pocket knives, and I have a lot of them. Yeah, and I have a few Takeda pocket knives.
Everett, I don't have any of those ones in the Ottawa store right now, but I'll take a look and see. I'll take a look on Kent of Inglewood and see if we've got any in stock that I can
You know what?
towards.
For sure, we'll be getting some for May long weekend, the long weekend in Canada in May, which I believe is Victoria Day, isn't it? Is that Victoria Day in May?
Yep.
That's when the garage sale is going to be, and we'll have lots of Takeda hunting and folding knives coming in for that for sure. And yeah, carbon blades you have to take care of in the field more because they can't get wet.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just a fact. But so much easier to use carbon steel blades. So
Yeah.
my latest,
it's a trade-off, right?
my latest hunting knife, I think I've got it here in my office somewhere. Is
That's a nice knife if it's the one I think you're talking about.
yeah. That's not here. I don't know where it is. But I'd like to say, everybody, yes, my office, there's just tons of knives and swords. There's a sword in a box over there. There's knives in boxes. There's half-made knives, a big stack of half-made knives here beside me.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a disaster. It's a disaster. Chris, maybe we should wind up. Maybe is there anything to say to the folks? Because I think thanks for watching. If you have any questions, now's the time to throw them. Any more questions? Now's the last chances to throw them in.
Yeah, fire out your other
Get to a
question.
question of yours. Ask again, because we probably just
yeah, we're trying. It's really like, I don't know if, like, you know, pull the curtain back here, folks. It's really just Kevin and I talking on Zoom, more or less, trying to keep an eye on your questions. And sometimes they do. I do my best to go back through and make sure I get everyone, but I'm only human and not even that good at it. So Dr. G is asking about when will the Haruyuki sale be? I don't think we have a date picked yet. We're trying to make sure that we've got an adequate amount of stock.
Yeah,
make sure that it is a sale that's worthwhile, like that it's fun, right? Because what's shittier than you hear something's going to go on sale and then 30 minutes into it, you're all out. Like that
was our bread knife sale this summer.
Yeah.
Remember the bread knife sale? We thought it was going to go for a week, and it went for. We were sold out of all of our bread knives in 4 hours.
3 hours. It's even worse. It was 3. And then it took us forever to get them back. It's just one of those. It's just, you know what? Like, the world has been pretty good at thinking on its feet and keeping things going. You know, like, and our customers have been a huge support through the entire, like the events of the last year. You know, it's we've been very lucky that we've got such an understanding and cool group behind us, because like, you know, we had people kind of just waiting on the line for a bread knife for like, oh, just call me when one comes in. I just need one, you know. There was a lot of that. There's just a lot of patience. The fact that, you know, there's so many recognizable names that show up in this stream 3 times a week is, I think, has more to say about you guys than it does us. You know. Troy did have something that he had said earlier about conros, and I didn't get to it. And your conros at garage sale ? Just reminded me. There are a couple of conros left.
What's a conro?
A conro is a Japanese style barbecue. It's made out of it's not really a ceramic fire brick. Like it's not like it's a natural brick made out of a clay. There's this Naoto shared this really cool video with us about how they actually like harvest this clay and form it into bricks and whatnot. But essentially what it is, it's like a natural fire brick. And they build these grills out of them, and you cook over charcoal in them. And the reason why they're so cool is the material itself insulates heat. So all of your heat shoots straight up. You don't lose any out the side. So it's a very, very efficient grill. And then oh my God, my brain is mush. We've only got a couple of them, Troy. Yeah, we've only got a few left. We do get restocked throughout the year. So if you're looking online and there was one that you had your eye on and we're out of stock, put yourself on the notify me when available list. That's on there on any item that we're currently out of stock on, and it puts you on an email list that will you'll get a notification as soon as they come back in stock, and you'll get first crack at buying a new one. We should be receiving some coming up to the summer, but you know, no promises. Dr. G I think he has like the same library of joke books that you do, Kevin.
Dr. G, do you know why you've never seen anyone with a 12-inch nose? Because that would be a foot. It's a good book. It's a good book.
Oh, man. K to the wrist on Instagram.
Chris, do you want one of these? Should I send you this book, Chris?
I don't think so, no.
Dad joke book? Really? It's got some winners in here. Like, did you hear about the guy that was afraid of elevators? He took steps to avoid them, Chris. He took steps to avoid them.
Well, K to the wrist is asking.
So he took steps to avoid them, Chris.
Well, this person wants to know what size Deba they should get. They don't know how to choose a size. We'll use primarily for things like salmon and cod. I would say a 165 Deba is what you want. It's pretty standard size. The really small ones are for like when you get like the 150s and such. Those are more for like things that are mackerel sized. But a 165 or a 180, depending on how big you are. Like if, you know, Kevin and I are a fair bit bigger than the average person, so I would probably use a 180 for those, but I would say a 165 is probably a good choice for a salmon or a cod. Here's a good question. Mount Everest is asking if there's any type of finish that you just can't stand the look of.
Shun Damascus. So there's sometimes for really inexpensive Damascus knives, they'll do the cheapest way possible. They'll do the cheapest way possible to give it a Damascus look, and it just looks so cheap. I hate it.
Is that just when they stack up?
Yeah,
like it's almost like a layered stack, kind of.
Yeah.
Like it was never folded or anything.
Shun Classics. First time I saw them, they were so cool.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of fun, but now you know better. That's the difference, right? I don't know if I've got one.
Hey, Chris, how do you organize a wedding in outer space? Chris?
I don't know, Kevin.
You plan it. You plan it, Chris.
Should have been obvious. Should have been obvious.
You plan it. That's how you organize an event in outer space. You plan it.
Well, Dr. G wants to know, is asking you, why do crabs never share?
I think it's because they're shellfish.
You guys are too much.
It's funny, Chris.
I'm still trying to think if there's a type of finish that I don't like.
Chris, what do you call a fake noodle? An impasta.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, I know what I don't like. I thought of a finish. I'm trying to answer the damn question, Kevin.
Why, Chris? Why
What?
doesn't Mike trust the stairs? Because they're always up to something.
Oh my God.
That's a good one.
I don't like it when they draw on the little, like, the Hammond line. That's the thing that really pisses me off, because there's nothing wrong with a knife that's made out of one piece of steel. You don't need to fake it. It's just different, right? Like, what's the point? Like, and you have the same knife, a Konosuke mirror. That's just one piece of steel, and it's a beautiful knife. It's polished up to a mirror. It's stupid sharp. It's really easy to sharpen. You don't need to put that fake little, it doesn't make it, it's like the handle conversation. It doesn't make it better. Like, a mono steel knife is just different than a San Mine knife. Like, they're not the same. One's not better than the other. They're just different, right? So I hate it when, like, it's usually big companies that do it, where they, like, put a little piece of tape
on a
or
cheap
something.
knife. On a cheap knife.
On a cheap knife, and then they sandblast it or something, leave a little bit shiny and sandblast the rest of it so it looks fake. Yeah, I don't like that. That's the one. See, it took me, but you got a genuine answer out of what
Chris,
type I don't like.
you're dicing an onion. Why on earth do you do the horizontal slices?
Because Chef said so. That's why.
Onions are already built that way. They already got little rings, right? Like, they've already got layers that way. So cutting them this way is just a waste of time, isn't it?
It is. That's what some people think, but those people are wrong.
Really? Because okay.
You don't dice an onion an easy way either, though. I've tried doing it the way you do it, and I don't like it the way you do it.
No, it's because you're a clumsy clod.
I tried doing it the other day, and it just didn't make any sense to me. I was like, "Why is he doing this? It's too, you know."
Because I'm a genius.
No, but I'm going to go back to my original answer. Oh my God, Dr. G. You have to tell us, what do you call a blind deer before you can put up another one, Dr. G?
I have no idea. No idea.
No idea.
No idea. Why is it impossible to hear a ptarmigan go to the bathroom?
A ptarmigan? That's not what that says.
This joke still works, though. There's no P. A silent P.
The silent P.
Pterodactyl, ptarmigan, both have this. It's the same joke, man. It's good.
That's a good one. I'll give you that. So Owen has asked, so how does Kevin dice an onion? Kevin takes half an onion.
Why isn't he asking me?
I don't know. Well, why don't you answer him?
He didn't ask me. He asked you.
He asked me. So Kevin takes the onion. Like, I don't even have an onion. If you've got, or a pen, I got nothing. I'm so unprepared. So if you've got, like, the rings of the onion, he cuts into it. It's almost like he goes around the arc of the onion and then dices it.
Yeah.
Whereas I just put the other.
And then dice it along the arc.
Oh, see, that sounds even harder.
Just math, Chris.
Yeah, I don't like it. But Admiral Longstash, which is nice to see you again.
Well, the name makes me laugh. The name makes me laugh. Are you Rob in Airdrie?
Yeah. Has the usage of Japanese knives influenced the way you cook? Have you introduced wet and dry cloths for wiping your knives in between?
No, I don't have wet and dry cloths. I just wash my knife and then dry it.
Yeah.
Um,
I find that I cook different things than I used to. And I think this is something like a lot of our customers are kind of in the same boat, is that when you've got nice knives that are fun to use, you want to use them more. So I tend to chop things a lot more than what, like, I don't reach for the appliances as much. Like, I don't really use my blender unless, or like, I don't have like a food processor. I just have a blender. But I find like I'll make things that just require a little more prep work because I got new toys and I want to use them. So like I'm more likely to make like a brothy soup instead of a pureed soup, so I can have little floating things, and that's maybe, I don't know.
Traveling to Japan has changed my cooking a lot.
Yeah.
Right, developing my Japanese food palate has changed my cooking a lot. I cook a lot of Japanese food, and I'm getting better at it all the time.
Yeah, because you guys you eat a lot of Japanese, Japanese style stuff in your house. Yeah,
a lot actually.
Yeah, I've got one kid who likes it, so for her birthdays and stuff, we'll usually try to sneak out or do something like that.
We've got one dad at this house that likes it a lot.
Mm.
He does a lot of cooking, so we eat a lot of Japanese food.
Yeah. So,
why did the bicycle need help standing up, Chris?
I don't know.
I was too tired.
Too tired. That makes sense. I saw a funny thing it was like
too tired, Chris.
I understand.
We have to laugh at one of these golden jokes one day.
Well, his jokes are good. So we've been asked on Instagram if we should do a cooking show on Japanese cuisine sometime. We should get like Naoto, and Naoto's quite a talented cook.
We should get Naoto to do it, actually. In fact, Naoto should just teach us. Get Naoto to teach two idiots.
We could all have our computers set up with the same grocery list and see what we come up with.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Naoto's we've got a huge advantage in Calgary over you in Ottawa. We've got a place called True World Foods, and they're Japanese importers, and it's awesome.
We used to get stuff.
It's awesome.
We used to get stuff delivered from them here in Ottawa. We'd order it, and they would get,
Oh, really?
Yeah, we'd get like IQF. When I worked at the Whales Bone, and we would get things like nicer seafood.
IQF. What's IQF? Do you know what that means?
Individually quick frozen.
Yeah. Instead of freezing them in a big block.
Yeah, but like really nice tuna and some ebi and urchin and stuff like that. Troy is saying, what about top Japanese cooking books, resources other than traveling? There is a lady. I'm going to grab a book for you, Troy.
You're going to grab the new Japanese one from Nancy?
Yeah. Provided I've still got it in stock here.
Because I don't have that one yet.
Yeah, I've got one.
Here are the best Japanese cookbooks. If you want to learn how to make Japanese hot pots, get this one, Japanese Hot Pot book. Great for the winter. If you want to learn how to make yakitori, you go and you buy this book here called Chicken and Charcoal. It's from Yardbird, which is a restaurant in Hong Kong, and it's a Calgary couple that went to Hong Kong and have opened up the best Japanese yakitori restaurant in the world in Hong Kong, of course. If you want to learn how to make yakitori, get this book. If you want to learn to make like real simple at-home Japanese food, this is Nancy Hatchery. She wrote the one Chris is holding to by Faden, the Japanese book. This is her first book. What's it called? Japanese farm food. She does a preserving one as well.
Yeah.
They're outstanding. And Chris, that book you're holding, by the way, is why this book came in second at the International Gourmand Awards. This book came second for the Japanese Book of the Year because Nancy, her book won. And it should have. It was easily better than my book. But here, I don't have the dust jacket on this one anymore. But it's Japanese cooking.
I have that book at home too.
This is phenomenal. It's by it's gonna and the introduction is by MFK Fisher from the 70s. This book is from the introduction. You read the introduction from MFK Fisher, and it is the most. Like, it was written in 1979.
Yeah.
The intro, and it is absolutely up to date, fantastic. It feels like it was written last week, and by a really intelligent human. It's a great book. There's also one called Dashi and Umami. It's super hard to find, and if you do, it's usually like $300. But there's a whole chapter about water, which is amazing.
Oh, I remember you telling me about that. Well, I read this thing one time.
My computer has no power left, and I don't know where my power cord is.
Yeah. Well, then maybe we should. So I've got two people here. We've got Troy, and then a fellow over on Instagram asking about. They both want that book. So what you guys are gonna? I've only got one copy right now, but I'll order more. So we'll have them for you in the next little bit. And then the Voog is asking if Chicken and Charcoal is in stock in Ottawa. I don't believe we have it right now. Sean is looking at the bookshelf on the other side of the room. I don't think we do, but it's one that we always keep stocked, Chris. So we'll get them again for when we reopen. So we always try to keep a bunch of cool cookbooks in the shop. And Trevor, sadly, if you want ramen broth that doesn't take 3 days, you just have to make a different style. Sorry, Kevin?
Do tonkatsu style in the pressure cooker.
Oh yeah, you could do it in the pressure cooker.
What are those trendy ones called? Like a one pot or something? I think they're called the Wonder Pot or One Pot.
Instant pot. Instant pot.
Instant Pot. Is that what they're called? I thought they're called One Pot. Yeah, that's a great thing. So if you don't want to do tonkatsu for days and days, just get the Instant Pot, or just put it on in the morning and hard boil it until 16 hours later.
Yeah.
I try to do it. I try to do it when I do a turkey. I love turkey ramen. So I'll put the turkey carcass and a pig foot or two, and just boil it hard for 16 hours. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. The books are not online at the moment, Dork. But if you send me an email, so chris@knifewear.com, I can make you an invoice so that you can pay for it ahead of time and do the old curbside pickup. Because the Ottawa store, for those of you who do not know, is closed. Well, we're not closed. We're only here for curbside sharpening and curbside orders Monday through Saturday until, well, I guess this week we've got an announcement coming from the provincial government on Monday, which I'm really hoping that they'll tell us that we can reopen after the 11th, and then we'll be back in business. And then we're just back to the old, gotta wear a mask, gotta be, gotta wear a mask, gotta be nice.
Oh, the Dork's in Portland. Dork, just find a local bookstore.
Yeah, it's called
on Amazon. I hate those people.
Yeah, that guy does not need any more money. The lady's name who writes it, I'm gonna put it in here for you, so you can just look her up, and you should buy all of her books because they are phenomenal.
Each one of her books is fantastic. Like, her books are fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah, they're phenomenal.
Robin Sharkey says hi, guys. Hi, Robin Sharkey.
Hey, Robin. So, we've got another video coming up on Tuesday, but Kevin and I aren't going to be here.
That's right. We have hospital engagements and things.
Yeah. Strangely enough, both of us have to get somebody from the hospital on Tuesday. We're doing okay. Don't worry about us. But my kid sister's getting her gallbladder taken out to really, to throw that out there just so no one has to worry.
That's exciting.
Yeah, exciting stuff. I'm gonna ask if she can keep it, so we can dry it and sell it as a bare gallbladder.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, Robin, if you missed the Natural Stone show,
Should be online. Should be on Facebook.
Should be on YouTube. You just won't be able to ask any questions, or on Facebook. Yeah, they do keep them. They do keep them up there, so you can go back to it. If you had any other questions, we can always just put you in touch with Nalto, or you can just send them to hello@knifewear.com, and we can sort you out. That should be easy enough.
So I was asking when the sword show is, because it was supposed to be.
It was supposed to be Tuesday.
Next Tuesday, yeah. We're not doing it. So the sword show is postponed. But I have a sword here if you want to see it one day. Also, I don't think I'm around next Thursday either, am I?
I don't know. I don't know what you're doing.
I can't remember.
I'll figure it out.
My brain's really fuzzy, Chris. I've been doing this $24 challenge where I have to eat only food that I could buy for a whole week for $24.
Yeah.
And I've been battling with a really fuzzy brain.
Yeah, it's been hard. I was saying to Kevin before we got started, the thing I've noticed the most about myself is less of a. I have a more reactive temper than normal, and I had sent I sent an email to my friend Chris Armitage today, where I prefaced the email with, "I swear I'm not as angry as this seems, but I'm very hungry, I'm very tired, and cannot find gentler words." So
it's interesting how this impoverished diet I'm on is affected my energy levels and my brain functioning. Like I feel fuzzy, like I don't feel smart. And I tried to ride my bike twice this week and failed both times. It's too hard. It's too hard.
Yeah, and that seems to be like a lot of the people who I've talked to who are also doing it are kind of, it's the same thing across the board, right? Like none of us have really put ourselves in any danger. But we are, everyone's brain is a little mushy. Like any of the people that like the other folks on the board of directors or, that I've talked to doing it, like everyone, like at this point, like trying to string a whole sentence together is difficult.
But we've done it for an hour and a half.
Go us. Go us. So, but I don't know. I think maybe we should say goodbye. Robin has said so many of their knives need serious flattening of the bevel before I can achieve a stone Kasumi finish.
Not true. You need finger stones. If we don't have any finger stones on the website right now, it's because Naoto and I have to take our stone that we're harvesting all the finger stones from and hit it with a hammer some more.
Yeah.
So if you want finger stones, because what Robin is saying? It's Robin, right?
Yeah.
This part here, Robin wants to make this part foggy, smoky looking right here, and then shiny on the edge like this knife is. Okay, see that? And to achieve that look, if that bevel's not totally flat, which it never is, because it's built on a round sharpening stone, to get that look on a flat stone is you have to work really hard to flatten that bevel totally and then go through the stages of polishing it.
Yeah.
But with finger stones, what happens, you get little stones and you basically put them on the edge of your finger and then just rub the part that you want to get. So it doesn't matter if it's flat or not. So get the finger stones. You don't have to make that bevel totally flat. It saves you a lot of work and it looks great when you're done. In fact, it look better because it's the stone that's perfect for making that look. So there you go.
Yeah.
Dr. G says, if I thought about straight razors, Japanese straight razors from Iwasaki, that would help sharpen my fuzzy brain.
I don't know that it would, because I cut myself with one of those today.
You bonehead.
I know. I haven't cut myself shaving in a long time. So, yeah. Fingerstones, Aaron, we should have them on our website soon. If we don't have them, we'll get them up there shortly. You can always, if you'd like, you could send us an email, hello@knifewear.com, saying that you're looking for them. And then that'll make sure we get it done faster.
I see blank here saying you can put slurry, which is the swarf. It's like the goo that comes off the stone that's kind of gray that sits on your stone when you're sharpening. You can put that on a towel and then rub the towel. You can also just do that with a wine cork. If you have a hard time drinking a bottle of wine, I will help you finish the wine, but use the cork and you can rub that slurry on there. But the fingerstones do a much
it keeps your fingers away from it.
It just the fingerstones just do a much better job. Yeah. But yeah, you can do it that way. You can get the slurry on the end of the cork and just rub it where you want. That works as well.
Cool. Well, here, I'm going to put I'm going to put this up one last time for Operation Come Home. And I'm going to give one little spiel about it. And I'm going to say, Kevin and I are at this until tomorrow. All right. Monday, we're allowed to go to the grocery store again and buy some food that we want to eat. If you're in a position where you'd like to donate to a charity that I'm very proud to be a part of, then by all means, I will put the link up for you, and I'll fire that up in the chat here in just a second. But you know what? Every little bit helps. If you're not able to pitch in a couple of bucks, maybe share the link with a couple of people who you think might be able to or might be interested. Every little bit helps. Between Kevin, Alex, and myself, we've raised well over $8,000.
$1,000 almost.
Yeah. So, and that's not us. That's not all money out of our pockets. That's people like you. Dr. G had donated. The Voog had donated. Who else is here?
I don't know. But
Trevor did a lot of people. Yeah, like a lot of people have. And that's great. That's awesome, because a lot of you people aren't even in our cities, and so it's I personally really appreciate it, and it's been very encouraging to kind of not throw in the towel. There have been a couple people, I don't know if you knew this, Kevin, a couple people in Ottawa put out a little message like, it got too hard, I made a donation, I opted out.
Really?
Yeah,
well, I ate 2 pierogies. I told you that.
That's true. Yeah.
But
then also, go ahead. Sorry.
Those are expensive pierogies.
Very expensive pierogies. Yeah. So I think you and I are lucky because we're in a position that we know a little bit more about how to prepare a nutritious meal on a budget.
My meals have not been nutritious.
Yeah, I tried,
I need a lot more vegetables.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not doing what I thought I was going to do, which was craft dinner and Mr. Noodles every day, but kind of wish I did, to be honest. At this point, I'd eat anything else. So.
Well, you made one thing and you're eating the one thing. I looked at it like ingredients, and then every day I put them together in a different way.
Yeah, see, I didn't do that. So,
like today, for example, my lunch was chicken noodle soup. But I've got the broth and the chicken and the noodles and the lentils all separate. But now for dinner tonight, I'm going to take the cabbage and a bit of chicken and onion and fry that up. Do like a cabbage, onion, chicken fry up.
A hash it.
Half of the ramen seasoning pack. And then I'm going to have the chicken broth in a coffee mug. So I'll have some sippin' broth.
Oh, that makes it fancy. They call that bone broth. It costs a lot more than chicken stock if you put it in a mug.
Yeah, so I'm going to have some sippin' broth to go with my cabbage, chicken, onion stir fry. Stir fry without any seasoning except salt. Because I didn't buy anything except salt. Chris, I'll tell you something too. I'm sick of all the people telling me I'm doing it wrong. I'm sick of the people that are coming at me on Twitter going, bah, You're an idiot. You chose all the wrong food. You did it wrong.
Yeah.
So here's what I say to you people. Join the challenge. Raise $6,000 yourself. Show me how to do it right. I'll even donate. You send me the link. If you're not going to do it, donate to our cause. And if you're not going to do that and you're still going to beak, then you're all mouth and no fucking trouser. So shut up. Shut up. How's that sound?
That's pretty good. That's pretty polite, actually.
I thought all mouth and no trouser is not very polite.
Yeah, but that's people are gonna have to think about that one. And your secret to a great ramen noodle. Well, if you're talking about the ramen noodles that I ate yesterday, that I purchased at the dollar store, don't use as much water as what's on the instructions.
You know what I've been doing? So I've been using, because I had the 4 ramen packs this week, right? So every time I make the ramen, the first 2 times I used half the packet, so I got a free packet. And the second time I used the chicken broth, so I had another free packet. And I've been using the ramen seasoning packet in my chicken and cabbage fry-ups.
Nice.
It's just stupid. The stupid things I get excited by.
Yeah. Well, now that's all we got, right? I'll
And
never.
by the way, if you're just gonna bitch and you're not gonna donate or do it yourself, shut up.
Just
Just
stuff
shut up.
Just stuff it. You know what? Blank, blank. You have been nothing.
You've been
but
absolutely
kind and pleasant.
Yes, you are not the person that I'm complaining about. I woke up this morning to about 6 people telling me I was stupid on Twitter.
Yeah.
And one lady said, well, you should have just bought flour and made your own pasta. Bag of flour and eggs is only $11. I went,
Yeah.
Cool.
And you only had 24. How much pasta are you going to get out of 12 eggs? You're going to get a week's worth of food out of 12 eggs? Come on.
Exactly. Shut up.
Come on.
So I've told them all. I said, hey, that sounds awesome. Why don't you show us how to do it? Join the challenge, raise some money, or donate. And then, of course, they all shut up after that because they don't even want to talk to me after that because they're like, oh, I got called on my bullshit.
Yeah.
Shitty.
That's usually how it goes.
One person pushed it extra further today.
Oh, nice.
Kept pushing it. And I finally said, please stop talking to me. Take me out of this conversation.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, well.
Now we're just bitching.
Yeah, now we're mad. Now we're mad. We're going to go for another hour.
Yes, I'm into whiskey. You're offloading your whole collection of whiskey, Robin Sharkey? What city are you in, Robin Sharkey? Why are you getting rid of whiskey? I like whiskey. These are all things that I'm saying, especially if the whiskey is Scotch or Japanese.
I've been known
I'm not that excited.
I've been known to finish a heel of whiskey from time to time.
I've seen what a heel looks like to you.
Yeah, it's a lot. But it's because I'm a big boy. So.
Okay, what kind of whiskeys do you like, Chris? You like bourbons.
I like bourbon. Yeah. I like bourbon. I like, I've never really tried a lot of, and this is where everyone's going to come at me a lot. I don't really like the really peaty whiskeys. So a lot of Scotch I'm not super stoked on. But I'm not a very adventurous drinker.
I didn't like Scotch until I spent some time in the Highlands. And it was like driving into these little towns where people still use peat to heat their houses.
Yeah.
You smell the peat fire, and then you drink the water, and even the water that runs through the peat bogs has a different flavor. So there's like 2 ways that Scotch picks up a peat flavor, and one is peaty water, and one is peat smoke.
Okay.
And it wasn't until I spent some time in the Highlands that I just decided that Scotch is outstanding. But it took a personal connection there to understand.
That makes sense.
And someone said, what's your 2 favorite Scotches? You know what? I've always got Highland Park. I like Highland Park, anything except that new one. They've got the black label. It's kind of watered down. It's meant for cocktails, not really good. And the other ones, who knows, man? Glendronach is often, especially the Parliament, but I don't have that kind of money anymore. Forever, really. Used to be much cheaper than it is now. So with Glendronach, Aaron, Arran, Lefroy, Ardbeg, big fan of Ardbeg, which are the smoky ones. Chris, you wouldn't like those. Ardbeg, Lefroy. Anyway, that's the scotches I like.
Yeah.
Now, what about, Chris, what about bourbons? Or are you fussy when you drink bourbon? Because I've drunk Bullet with you.
Yeah.
And I've drunk.
No, I like, you know what, my favorite bourbon, the one that I'll usually buy if I was keeping booze in the house, I like Basil Hayden. That's a nice one. That's kind of my favorite, without me like trying to like, if I'm not trying to like treat myself too much, it's still like a $60 bottle of bourbon. But yeah, that's probably my favorite. We used to have a lot of different bourbons at the restaurant. So I've worked my way through a lot of them. You know, I've been lucky enough to have a couple of those, you know, Pappy Van Winkles and things like that. Four Roses is a good choice. Yeah.
Four Roses, it's shockingly cheap.
Yeah.
Bourbon, Four Roses and Dickel. I really like Dickel.
Yeah.
I like the Dickel Rye, actually.
Mm-hmm. That one's good.
Dickel Rye is fantastic. And if you're in the States, like last time I was in Hawaii, Dickel Rye was on the case cuts just at the end of the row, and it was $11 a bottle.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. It's like free. Yeah. They're like, hey, have bourbon. It's free. Well, it was rye, I guess, not bourbon.
Yeah. Yeah. The Four Roses.
Maybe I've never had it.
You know what? Anything you've got, like here's the way I think about a lot of things. And we're not going to talk about whiskey for a second. We're going to talk about hamburgers for a second. Okay?
I'm going to get some water because I'm coming back, but I'm listening.
Okay. If you put a hamburger on your menu and you charge $20 for it, I expect it to be really, really good, because I will go to a diner and spend $8 on a hamburger and be very satisfied with it. So when we talk about things like whiskey, or I had this conversation with a buddy once because he opened a restaurant in Ottawa, and it was like a kind of a hoity-toity breakfast place. They were charging $20 for a breakfast. And I had said, you are aware that you're competing with it. You're putting, you know, I don't care that you're baking your own bread and you're making your own bacon. If you're charging $20 for a breakfast and you're competing with the $4.99 breakfast special, there's only a couple of ways to cook an egg over easy. You know, are you guaranteeing that it is 5 times better than what I can get at the diner? I feel the same way about whiskeys like Pappy Van Winkle. I don't have the education or the palate to tell you why that's worth $50 an ounce in a restaurant, because it's not to me. You know?
This is something that I have right now that I love.
Mm.
And I got it as a gift. I don't know anything about it except that I got it as a gift, and it's just been fantastic.
Yeah, I don't know as much. I drink like a cook still, to be perfectly honest. I like light beer. I like a lot of cold, refreshing beer. And if I like drinking whiskey, that I don't make a face when I put it in my mouth. That's what I like, you know, and it's just me, you know. I am not the person to call up and be like, hey, we're going on a microbrew tour. Do you want to come? Like, only if every single place that we're going to has a Pilsner or a lager, I will join you. You know, I've been there with Kevin, where I'm sitting at the bar and I say things like, I want you to pretend that this is not a nice restaurant and this is the Legion. What beer do you give me? You know, or pretend it's this line does pretty well for me. I want you to pretend that it's a hot day and I'm a 75-year-old woman sitting on her front porch. What am I drinking? You know, that usually gets me a really nice glass of Riesling, and I like that.
Riesling, the most healthful of drinks.
Helpful, yeah.
Yeah.
So, well, Kevin, we said that we were going to shut this off at 5:10, and we managed to keep it going for another 45 minutes.
Oh, God. Well, now we're talking about whiskey. We're talking about things we can't have until Monday also.
I know.
I'd like to point this out. But listen, our friend here, Robin Sharkey, has mentioned a few things that are interesting. Says he's got some Bruichladdich Black Arts. Big fan of that. Somebody, Chris, you wouldn't like it, but I am a big fan of that. And also some mentioned a 1988 single cask of Highland Park. Oh, sounds like fun. Those two sound exciting.
Well, maybe what we do is the next time we're in Toronto for a pop-up, we just give old Robin a little dingle on the phone.
Oh, dear, he's selling off all of his whiskeys. That's Kevin at knifewear.com. Those two I mentioned, I'd be interested in prices, but I don't have a lot of money for whiskey, especially not this week.
Not this week. Well, now you can do whatever you want. You've already opened the floodgates. You can do whatever you want now.
No, I'm still going to I'm going to finish, man. I'm going to finish. I'm going to pretend I found those two pierogies on the street.
Like the Skittles on the floor of my car.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's like I got about this far, and then I was like, what am I thinking? It was almost ate it.
What am I thinking? There's an orange one down there. I don't like the green ones.
Yeah, I like the orange ones. Well, someone is back on Tuesday. I can't remember who it is, but Nathan said that someone's back on Tuesday.
I think I'm on Thursday too. I don't have my phone here, but I think I'm away on Thursday as well, Chris.
Yeah. Well, I'll be there. I'll be there on Thursday. Yeah. Oh, if I've got plenty of stories about food I've eaten that I shouldn't have. All right. It's like that episode. Was it Seinfeld? I don't know. I didn't watch a lot of Seinfeld where there was like an eclair on a plate in the garbage. Was that Seinfeld? Yeah. Yeah. I'm that guy. I'll eat it. I was a cook for 15 years. Do you think I don't eat shit off the floor? It's my own car. I know who's in and out of it.
A Skittle's not going to pick up much.
No,
you wouldn't have picked up like something like
I wouldn't eat like a French fry off the floor. You know?
Yeah, or something like a pre-sucked on Skittle.
No.
Not like a piece of banana that fell out of the peel on the floor. That's different.
No. No. But a Skittle, I'd think about a Skittle. All right, I'm going to say goodbye now. I'm going to hit the old end button. All right. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to do Instagram first. There we go. There. Instagram got done first. I don't think there was anyone watching anyway. All right. Have a good one, everybody. Thanks for all the support this week. It's been very, very helpful, and it has not gone unnoticed. It's you're a great group of people to hang out with. So awesome. Well, you guys have a good one, and I'll be talking to you next week.